Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the time is over there. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Ta-da! It's Jessica West 224 again. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to talk about things you need to note when bringing a child into the UK, or children below the ages of 16. So when bringing a child into the UK, you need to note these things, because trust me, UK is definitely not like your home country. So without much ado, let's get right into this video. Okay, where do I start from? Let me talk about before getting your visa. There's one thing you must note: you have to pay for visa application fee for your child. It's not free, it's not subsidized, it's the static amount for children on the UK government website. Go to gov.uk and you see the amount for visa applications for adults, for a visa of 3 years and below, and children 3 years and below, which the child comes on that as your dependent, okay? Because of course your child cannot have a main applicant visa except the child is applying for ILR, indefinitely to remain. So then you need to submit a document to the Home Office, that's the UK Home Office, for them before they issue a visa to your child. While applying, you need to attach um, parental consent, parents' consent, which must come from both parents of the child. Now, for instance, you're a single mother, you must get a consent of the father of that child, if alive, documented and signed. Just if you want me to show you guys the one I did for my son, I can show you guys. Just private chat me and I'll send you a copy. So you can just get that. And even if the father of the child or the mother of the child is not coming with you, but the person who better that child, either the father or the mother, must consent. Both of them must consent, sign one document and submit to the Home Office, so that the Home Office knows you're not stealing a child. Okay. Then number three, something you need to know also is that tickets for children are not free. They are subsidized though, but they are absolutely not free. You must pay your plane ticket. I've heard some people say, what if I try to lap my child in the plane? Hello. Even in buses in UK, you don't lap your child. How much more on a plane? How much more in a plane? Of course, think about it. It doesn't make sense. So your child must have his or her own seat. Okay, so get ready when you're packaging yourself to come. Get ready to pay for flight ticket. Then once you get into the UK, there's something you need to note. As a human being, you must register with the GP. Even if you're not interested, register with the GP. For that child, Gongo, you must register with the GP, because if anything arises, they will ask you, are you registered with the GP yet for your child? If no, that means you're a careless child. You don't even care about the health of your child. GP is basically general practitioner. This medical doctor, GP surgery, you see, is like a clinic where patients are treated. Okay, it's different from the main NHS big hospitals. That's when you go there on emergency or referral from your GP, or you want to give birth or things like that. But the clinic is the GP. The clinic back home is the GP over here. You get me? So make sure you register with the GP for your child, even if your child is not sick. Like, since we came here, I've registered my child with the GP. Then we moved houses. I took him to the next place and we registered with the GP. They took the information from the other clinic also and added it together. But he has had no cause to go to the hospital. But just to tell you, I'm a good mother and I have to protect his medical interest. Okay. Then once you get registered with the GP in your locality, the health visitor will definitely knock at your door. But first, they'll send you a message, a letter via mail, telling you welcome to this area. They're welcoming your child, not you. The health visitor is more particular about your children. Okay, so they're sending a message of welcoming your child to the environment, to the council, and secondly, they'll send you another letter to let you know that they want to come and visit you. Those they'll suggest a date and say, if it's convenient with you, please do well to if it's convenient with you, then it's okay. You don't need to do anything. They will come that day between the hours of the time stipulated on the letter. But if they don't, if it's not convenient with you, maybe you'll be working that day, your spouse will be working that day, you just have to let them know in time. Their phone numbers there to contact them so that you reschedule. Okay, then this health visitors, they want you have to be very careful before they come and when they come. You must keep your house neat, even if it's scattered. Of course, there are no children scatters houses. Okay, you must make sure your child has the basic things. There must be food in your house. You must have clothing, of course. They will have to check where he's sleeping. Your child must have a designated area for his sleeping, even if not a room, but you should have a baby cot, a baby bed, depending on depending on his or her age. And even if you don't have, you just tell them we just moved in not quite long, so we don't have for now. Some of them go ahead offering, they'll link you to charity organizations where you could get some of those things. Some will even bring it to your doorstep. Some will link you, some will direct people to your doorstep, but they will inform you. But you don't have to stay so long. Like health visitor keeps coming to your house for 2 good years. You've lived in that area. You've not been able to afford a bed for your child because they believe a father, a mother, and a child must not sleep on the same bed. Okay, so if you just moved in, maximum at least by 6 month time, you should have been settled to get a special bed for your child. And if you can't afford a different room, you tell them for now we can't afford it, we're working towards it. But don't remain at that same level for 1 year, 2 years. They will know you don't have your child's interest at heart and they can take that up with you. So when coming, just know you see that Nigeria you say, my pikin go sleep in between us now. My pikin go just sleep for one corner. Work here. Then once your child gets to the school age, your child must get to school. If your child is already at the school age before coming into the UK, you must get ready to register your child with the school. Basically schools are free until university level before you start paying. But you have the leverage to choose which school you want your child to attend. If you want your child to go to a Catholic school, if you want your child to go to a private school, if you want your child to go to a community school, government school, things like that, you have the leverage to choose. But it's best advisable to choose a school not so far from your home. If not something you'll be taking 2, 3 buses. You can't be in Colchester and your child is going to school in London. It doesn't make sense. It's too far. You get what I mean? Except you drive every day down there. Maybe you're working there. You just keep your child there, or for some tangible reasons. Okay, so you got to register your child in school. Basically, from 3 years, your child can start school free. But if before 3 years, from two, you will have to pay for childminder, childcare, or you have to pay for the school if you're taking your child to school before the ages of 3. Okay. Then when you take a child to school, you must be careful. You have to be there before their closing time for pickup. Make sure you don't go after their closing time. You must be in time to pick up your child. You get why? And I'll explain subsequently as this video goes on. You must be there on time to pick up your child. You must note that children in this country don't just go to schools and that's all. Don't just take the academics and that's all, like it is back home and some countries. You must know that I should even, if I'm exaggerating, 70% of a child's academic has to do with extracurricular activities. The child must be into sports, games, other things. You must not deprive a child. School don't close, book they go out. If it's sports time, the child needs to get involved. If the child is into a swimming game, into any kind of games, you just have to let your child be. Even if you have to sit down and watch that child for long, do it. So you're not just coming here to just walk. You're also going to sacrifice some time for your child. Okay. Another thing you must note, if it's a school that allows food, basically they do allow food. You have to pack your lunch bag when the child is staying a longer time. But some schools will just say, you know what, let's just do a flat rate. You just pay £1 a day or £1 a week, or it's free. Every child gets to, of age bracket though, get free food in school. And that alone, you can relax on that. But if not, you must be able to package healthy foods for your child, healthy snacks for your child. You don't just have to go with junks all through. You must go with food. You must go with fruits. In this country, they don't just pack one big bowl of rice with one half egg or one egg or half egg or a slice of beef inside. No, you must go with rice. For an example, if you're taking rice, you must go with rice, some carrots by the side, some fruits by the side, some berries, which is still fruits, oranges, apple, mix them together, incorporate all, and you can now add snacks and juice. Then they do this big rice, one meat for center. What would they do back home? So you must take note because they're watching. They're watching. They're not necessarily going to open the foods to see, but they can just be passively taking notes. And if you're spotted on, you don't want to be reported. Trust. Guys, another thing you must note is that in UK, no beating here. No beating here. If they never tell you before, make you know, and you can't beat your child in the UK, if except you want a child to be taken away from you. So that's that for that. Another point I will advise you guys is avoid staying in a flat. Avoid staying in a flat. You see these flats that looks like our Nigerian face me, I face you. You see these flats in UK that looks like this, like house to house, where avoid staying in a shared apartment with a child. You get why? Avoid staying in houses that are so close in proximity. They are so close. Stay a little bit distance away. You know, UK houses are quite close, but some are closer than some. So avoid those so closer houses. You get why? And the reason, I'm gonna say it in pidgin. If you don't know, sorry, I can't help you. The reason is that see, I know I'm saying it in pidgin, so it doesn't look as if you understand. You understand? Now, there are some things you say to a child, some of our cultures and African nature. What's this speak simple and correct? If your body prepare you and you want come do some kind woto things then wey person go collect gbas or you wan come, even if in talk you wan do am in a way wey go teach the person lesson or some kind of thing, a kind of way, and not say make you go dey beat your pikin sha, but it's good when you're not so close. And another reason why this one is legit, your child, you know, Nigerians, our children, we dey cry for nothing. Although normally everywhere children cry, but the British people, their kids are not so loud as we are. You know, even Africans, basically, we are loud. Whether we like it or not, we are loud. I didn't say we are lousy, but we are loud. Those people talk as if they are whispering. They talk calm, and so their kids have learnt that way. They grew up that way. There's something you need to know. Even when these kids cry, it blesses when they cry inside their belly. So we are kids cry, ah, you know, that kind of thing, like someone is beating them when they're not beating them. So if your child is the type that wakes up to cry at night, maybe needs to suckle, needs to eat, needs to snack on something, or just needs to be patted back to sleep, your neighbor might feel you're beating that child. If it keeps reoccurring, I knew when my child was growing up, when my child was much smaller, he's still growing up now, he usually cries at night. He would just wake up for no reason. He would just start crying. Like, you have to pet. He can cry for heat, he can cry for cold, he can cry for, and you just start crying. I need to pet the child back to sleep. In this place, they will not know your child is like that. Of course, they will give leverage to some kind of just maybe 1 minute cry. But some neighbors will say, this child is disturbing my sleep, is disturbing this. We just report you for no just reason. Say you leave the child to be crying at all times. Maybe you're beating the child and they start investigating you for nothing. And if police gets into your matter, social welfare, social services get into your matter, my dear, let them not take your child away from you. So that's what I'll tell you. So in case of some kind of corrections, you know, Nigeria, all Africans, our voices are loud. You might be correcting your child and you might be loud and they say you're abusing the child, you're shouting at the child, you always do that, you always do this. So avoid that. Oh yeah, stay on your own, make you know the too dey close to these people. You get why your house make you dey distance so that if they say some kind thing lead to two things, anyhow ogboro must join. Another thing you must note is that your child must always be with an adult. That is why someone contacted me and said she wants to come to the UK alone with her two children. Someone will say, with my three children, is it possible? Now, there's nothing that's impossible under the sun, like people will say. But trust me, it is difficult. We have single parents here looking after their children. But one thing you must note, nobody should leave his or her child alone. Alone. If your child is below 16 years, just know you can't leave that child alone. You can't. You need an adult, not a 16 years old child to be sleeping over with a child to watch the child for you while you go and do your night shift. You need another adult to look after this child or these children, because they go help you. This country, they go help you collect your pikin. In UK, you don't just come say you want to work, pack all the shifts, day shift, night shift. I need money to send back home. I need money to build mansions in Nigeria. It's best if you have a spouse, so that when your husband does a morning shift, you do a night shift. So sometimes when someone is booking me for an appointment or something, I'll say, okay, hold on, let me confirm from my husband because of childcare. So they know I have my child at heart. They know. So I'll ask my husband, how's the shift like on Wednesday morning from this time to this time? Are you working morning or you're working night? If he says he's working night, then I am free to go out during the day. So that's how we do it here in order for us to pay childcare, because childcare is like monkey they walk, bamboo they shop. Monkey they walk, bamboo they chop. You're gonna spend so much amount of money paying for childcare. If you want to pay somebody to live with you, you will pay nothing less than minimum wage. And if your salary is also minimum wage, you are paying minimum wage. As you come, you know they will sit tight to pay. They pack all. They give nanny or childcare. So we have what's it called? We have childminders, which are kind of cheaper but still within the range of minimum wage. So ask yourself, zombie, careful what you say around your child. Be careful what you say around your children, because these children, it will shock you when they begin to talk for outside. Children, they do talk. Sometimes they tell their friends, my mommy said this, my mommy did this. And be careful what you do around them too, what you say and what you do around them. If you start saying, my mom kissed my dad and they're all doing good, they're having fun, they're smooshing around and so on, and that child might just be telling his friend or her friend, that friend will go and tell the mother, oh mommy, innocently, mommy, I know I use my son. Mommy, Johnson said his parents are smashing around. Why don't you smash around with dad in front of us? Or why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Okay? That parents will take her up with you. They will not come out to say is this so. They will just inform. So be careful what you say to your kids and what you say around your kids and what you do around your kids. Okay? Another thing is that you have to dress your kids appropriately according to the weather. Now in UK we have summer, spring, winter and fall. When it gets to summer, you can dress them anyhow they like, and even in summer there are some times where it could be chilly, it could be windy and it could be sunny. So that time you can dress them on light clothes. Some people will say it doesn't matter, is it not me, can I afford it and so on. At least you can afford a jacket or two or two, and just so you know that this kid's going to school, also their teachers are taking notes. In winter you're coming to school without your son's jacket. I don't think any parents can do that though. You're coming to school without your son's jacket, just know that they're taking notes. They can even call social services to report to you that you don't care about the health of your child. You say, I forgot the jacket now, make it day later. Oh, I forgot the gloves, I forgot the socks, I forgot. You just have to be very cautious and very careful. Okay, take your child to parks, play parks, recreational centers, and so on. You need to know that in UK, life is not that hard. Life is not that hard in the sense that I'm not talking about making money. I'm talking about you don't just go all serious, 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 serious all through. You need to have some playtime with your kids. can't remember when last I took my child out in Nigeria for a playtime. I think okay, that was when we were about relocating. We decided to go out for to a recreational center. But if not, this one is like most times a weekly basis, once in 2 weeks, monthly. You just have to take your child there. Even if no one is watching, you have to inculcate that habit so you get used to it. You know, when kids in school are saying, we went to this park, we went this, we had fun, the child will just ignorantly say, my mom doesn't take me to the park. And you know, story, you get her, it is spread, you get how it is spread and the worlds have ears. Okay? Okay. So just so you take note. And there are some set of people I want to talk about. You know, the number one is the dreaded social worker. You know, social workers are dreaded, but you can actually avoid them. There's something you must note about social worker. You don't need to be afraid of them alone. You just have to be cautious when it gets to social worker, the police, the uniformed people, the GP. Yeah, I said the GP. I'm coming. Your neighbors, their friends, child minders. Don't worry, my son is watching over him, so it's been taken care of. Um, Minders and so on. Now I mentioned GP. You know, when a child goes to the hospital and there's a concern, a bodily mark or something, or is malnourished or something, it falls back on the parents. What happened to your child? Why is the child like this? What happened? If there's some questions you can't answer, just know you have to prevent. And when the GP gets a concern from his investigation and observation of that child or your children, they're not gonna tell you wholehearted, madam, be careful, oh, this thing you're doing. There's what they called child protection here. He's just going to inform the child services, childcare services, social worker, and they'll take it up from there. So when you're going to a dentist, be careful how you, even a dentist, be careful how you treat your child around there, and be careful what you tell the child and the dentist. Be careful also because these children can just chat with the dentist and say, I don't know why my mom doesn't brush my teeth. That's a red flag. That does not mean they just take a child from you from there, but that's a red flag. If there's a concern subsequently, they just put two and two together and say, ah, this child told me this previously 2 months back, and added to this that is malnourished, added to the fact that his parents doesn't care. They might just ask you simple questions that how's the work shifts like? They say, oh God, and they work morning, and they work after, they work nine to, and their father comes in and out, and so we'll just drop him off somewhere as the sweetie for maths. Make sweetie when they take your child. So these are the things you need to know. So you don't necessarily need to be afraid of social service. If you do your things well, nobody will come and drag your child away from you. I am not also perfect. I'm still working towards perfection. I'm praying nobody takes my child away from me in Jesus' name. Amen. But we have to be careful. So I'm just trying to let us out know that these things are real. It happens. It happens. Don't leave your child and say, I'm just going to the next stock shop beside me to buy something and just go for grocery shopping. He'll be fine. He's sleeping. Let me tell you something. My husband was just clearing around our compound and he wanted to go to the gate. And my landlord was around then. He never knew I was around. So just to the gate, see my house, see the gates. Just to the gate. He was asking my husband, who will now look after your child that's in the house? You see what I told you? So be cautious about your landlord also because see, take everybody in UK as to be a spy, unpaid spy. Do you know all this unsolicited advice we give ourselves and our friends and mothers in Nigeria, which are first time moms in Nigeria, all those unsolicited advice you give to them, just know that UK, they are big on unsolicited reporting. They will not tell you what you're doing is wrong. Go. The next thing, pang, 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 they don't place call. The next thing, people are getting to your door or the environment. Even in this park, people around watching might be watching and taking note. Ah, you're recording a video. Nobody's watching after your son. Thank God my husband is watching after him. So you have to be careful and cautious everywhere you go. Take everyone to be a spy. And see, if you love your child, if you go all out for your child, it will limit you trying to checkmate when you go outside. I hope nobody's watching me. Let me be well. Just free yourself, live well with your child, remove the Nigerian mentality, and you're gonna be fine, okay? Trust me, you're gonna be fine. See those child minders and caregivers you drop your child with also. You're gonna be good also around them because they're taking notes and you're leaving this child with them. They can just ask the child one or two things. These people are basically pork nosers. See, when I mean pork nosers, 100% pork nosers. Now, in a good sense, if it has to do with safeguarding issues, that. But if it's just your neighbor, how you do all this, they are not partners. They don't mind what you're cooking. They don't mind anything. But when it has to do with safeguarding issues, they are 100% pork nosers. If you're a man beating your wife over there when you come here, you better be careful. Even if you don't beat your child can just say, "My mom keeps crying every night and day. I don't know what's wrong with her." They will now investigate. So, you're not concerned. It's not all about the child, but they will have to start investigating and spying on you. You will not know. They'll say a mom that keeps crying, maybe she's going through emotional trauma, she might not be able to look after that child. Then another thing, that's why you should be careful what to do around your children. You're free to cry, but make sure it's limited. And another thing, they will say maybe the father of the child or the partner of the lady is beating her, or you're into domestic violence kind of relationship. They'll start spying on you and see. They will not even do it for your own good alone. They just say, let's take the child away from this emotional torture, so it doesn't affect the psychology of this child. And before they talk Jack Robinson, your pikin know they are 6 months on go. So those are the things you all have to look out for and be careful. Okay, if you're coming in with a child or children. 15 years speaking, if you leave and go out say they go do night shift, come back. 15 years safe. So you should be careful. So guys, with this I've come to the end of today's video. I've come to the end of today's video. Kindly like the video, comment and share. If you don't know what to comment below, comment. Thanks for sharing. Another thing you need to note, don't be scared. Don't do it out of fear, okay? Don't do it out of fear. David, come to mama. Don't do it out of fear. If you do it out of fear, you're gonna make mistakes and it's be so obvious. So just do it out of natural love for your child and you'll be good, okay? Catch you later. Later. Bye bye.